Stormtrooper down. Strike him quickly.
Our main concept of the game is to become a Jedi. You start off with a Padawan, and it's your choice how to become a Jedi. And there's a lot of elements in the combat system that you can learn and progress through. So there are things like lightsaber skills, there are force power skills, and there's also like really important factors like health and stamina. So that's really up to you how you want to progress through the game, and you have this really extensive skill tree that you build throughout the game. So it's really up to you, and it should be different for every player and what type of Jedi you want to become.
In trying to make something that feels like a Star Wars story, Star Wars also kind of means something different to everybody, which is kind of the beauty of Star Wars. So we wanted to have that experience even within the game, that you could be all kinds of different types of people and come in and look at it and still have that kind of cathartic and like exciting experience with it. And kind of all wrapped up within that, we're also making sure that we're delivering on the kind of fantasy of becoming a Jedi. So you're like actually training, you're actually learning how to become a Jedi rather than just sort of already having all of your abilities.
We always knew from the beginning we wanted to make a very skill-based, kind of mechanical-driven combat system. A lot of us have fighting game backgrounds. Specifically, I used to compete in fighting games, so there's a lot of good vocabulary of things that work mechanically, what we could use to get something off the ground, and we knew that kind of fit with the Jedi becoming a Jedi, going from Padawan to becoming a Jedi mechanically. There's a lot of things there that takes skill, takes timing. So that was kind of the approach that we had. We play a lot of games as hardcore gamers, but we also understand that Star Wars is one of the biggest properties in the world, and there's people that may have not played Melee games before, so we have to tailor difficulty towards that, which I think most of it is timing and reaction based, so we want to make sure the experience is still authentic.
In terms of influences, nothing specifically that we were like, we need this mechanic from this game to put it in to add whatever. I think it's just been an amalgamation of all of our influences as developers and then trying to find what feels the best with the game we're trying to make and say. So it's a third-person, melee-focused action game. We play everything that's out there, games we like, games we don't like, because we just want to see what's hip and what's fun. And through that, I think, while not pulling anything specifically, we found things that feel fun for us in our game and hopefully made something really unique for players.
We always knew we wanted to go back and forth between lightsabers and force powers in combat, so we designed enemies to kind of have strengths and weaknesses to force push or other Jedi abilities. And then obviously starting with the Stormtrooper, the iconic Stormtrooper with the rifle, we knew that's going to take one hit to kill and easily dispatch with any force ability. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have like the lightsaber duels where they have an answer for everything you throw at them, and you kind of have to solve the puzzle on where their weaknesses is during a real-time match. And then as for the environment, we always knew we wanted responsive use of force powers. So in the environment, the force meter doesn't cost anything to solve puzzles or interact with platforms. And then in combat, we knew force powers have to be regulated. So that's why there's the force meter that costs meter to do force push or other abilities or certain special attacks. And depending on the difficulty, it may or may not replenish. And obviously you get force meter back by attacking enemies. There's a constant trade-off, a constant risk-reward, a constant back and forth that we always want the player to think about, thoughtful combat. When should I use a force power? Is this the right enemy to use it against? Is this the right force power to use? We always want the player constantly thinking and being engaged.
Yeah, I think the biggest part of becoming a Jedi is really the player's choice and how you want to progress through the game, whether you want to be a lightsaber master or you want to really excel your force power abilities. And it's not just in combat, but you actually use those skills when you're traversing in the levels. And a big part of our game is also retraversal, so you don't just go to a planet and never go back. You always have the choice to go back to it and explore further with the Force abilities that you unlock. That's really up to you. Which planet you want to fly to is up to you. So that's really part of what type of Jedi you want to become. There are also other things like customization that you can do in the game. You can build your own lightsaber. You have outfit customizations that you can do. And for players that are a little more advanced, we do have the difficulty settings that ranges from just a Padawan all the way up to a Grandmaster. So there are a lot of ways to customize how you want to play the game.
So Jedi advice that a player could take. I would say number one is that you can't control everything, right? No matter how wonderful you are, no matter how great you are, no matter how much you care, there are going to be things that are out of your control. Number two, you should definitely rely on people. For instance, like BD1 or like your crew members, because they're going to be really important for you. And I'd say the third one is to be flexible. I think that's a big part of kind of Cal's story and like what's going on in the game is like you can't exactly be a Jedi in the same way that you always were before Order 66. So basically, find a way to be yourself within the constraints that you have.
One of the Jedi teachings I think you can take away from this game is always trust in your lightsaber. Many good things will happen if you trust in your lightsaber. It's got great defense, it's swift, it helps you see in dark areas.
The Jedi lesson that you take from this game is, I guess, the biggest part of it is relationship with the characters. There are certain choices that you will need to make as you progress through the game. Your whole purpose is to rebuild the Jedi Order with your companions and your crew. So as a player, you really need to make these smart decisions.
This is Saul. How you doing?
One thing I would say to playing through and to take away as you become a Jedi playing Jedi Fallen Order is to always trust in the Force. Good things may happen.